Let's continue the intense TV debate with political talk. Joining us is political correspondent Cho Il-ho. Reporter Cho, during yesterday's debate, several topics were discussed. It seems like there was a heated debate over hotel economics.
That's right. Throughout the debate, candidates fiercely confronted each other. It began with Lee Jun-seok of the Reform Party taking the lead.
Have you heard of hotel economics?
That's just something you created? It's not about growth, but rather explaining the need for economic circulation in an extremely simplified way.
Candidate Lee Jun-seok criticized it as a quirky, money-spreading economic theory, but candidate Lee Jae-myung countered, saying it was just a simplified explanation.
The money doesn't vanish. It circulates with a marginal propensity to consume of one. Is this a perpetual motion machine?
Well, it doesn't exactly keep circling. It was just an extreme example to illustrate the point. Why are you oversimplifying it like that?
You saw the intense back and forth, and during the debate, Lee Jun-seok was criticized for being from the People Power Party. What was that about?
That's correct. To be precise, he questioned whether this was a general trait of People Power Party members. He claimed that his statements were taken too extremely and that the premise was being distorted.
They tend to make extreme assumptions and distort the premise while asking questions or making claims. I wonder if this is a general characteristic of People Power Party members.
Candidate Lee also criticized candidate Kim for not taking responsibility for negative growth, pressing him hard on the issue. Candidate Kim, while apologizing, also launched a counterattack.
We are very sorry and acknowledge the many challenges, but candidate Lee Jae-myung bears significant responsibility. Every time we attempt to do anything, candidate Lee Jae-myung seems to oppose everything.
Among the main candidates, lesser-known candidate Koon Young-guk from the Democratic Party stood out prominently yesterday. He showed a red card to U.S. President Trump.
Candidate Kwon from the Democratic Labor Party strongly criticized President Trump's tariff policies, calling them exploitative. He boldly and defiantly showed a glaring red card to President Trump during the debate.
Shouldn't we stand against Trump alongside the workers of the world? So I'm giving a red card to Trump. I'm sending it again.
The red card, which should have been sent once, was sent twice. However, candidate Kwon refused to shake hands with candidate Kim after the debate.
That's right. From the beginning, candidate Kwon launched sharp criticisms against candidate Kim.
The yellow envelope law is said to be an absurd law. They call it nonsense and unacceptable. How on earth did you manage the Ministry of Employment and Labor?
During debates, that's understandable, but usually they shake hands after the debate as a wrap-up gesture. However, candidate Kwon even refused candidate Kim's handshake offer. Kwon explained that shaking hands with someone who doesn't acknowledge their mistakes might give the impression that such actions are acceptable.
Shall we take a look at one more thing? Right now, there's coffee in front of the meeting room. These days, when you think coffee, it seems like the People Power Party members might be fans. What's the story here?
They've been continuing their criticism of candidate Lee Jae-myung's couple cost remark, "This is about the People Power Party." Today, as if targeting candidate Lee, they even prepared coffee for their meeting at the People Power Party. They even conducted their meeting holding coffee.
To the small coffee business owners, it sounded as though the cost price of 121 was portrayed as taking an outrageous profit margin of about 80 times.
The People Power Party is now seen to be taking a counter-offensive approach, judging that former President Yoon Suk-yeol's controversial remark about green onions costing $8.75 a month before last year's general election negatively affected the outcome.
We discussed the People Power Party's coffee issue. Thank you, Cho Il-ho from the political desk.